back. Nope, we're just zooming in. That works. Okay, hello. Good. I almost just slipped. Good morning, good day. We're gonna have a little chat. This works for me. Okay, so I wanted to kind of chat with you guys because by the time that I post this, I'm going to be posting this tomorrow. I've hit a milestone. I've hit a little mile marker, and I want to talk about it. Tonight, 2 years ago, my husband walked out on me. And God, that's weird. I don't know why that's not funny. So 2 years ago, I came back. We moved back from Florida to St. Louis 2 years ago on like right around Halloween. The third 2 years ago, we had kind of gotten into an argument. There was a lot of things stressing us out. The move across the country, COVID stuff was still massive. Coming back to a place that was no longer ours but belonged to my mother. We had car problems. There was just so much going on, and it had sparked a lot of stress and tension, and we fought, and that fight blew up, and my husband walked out. Fast forward to 2 years later, and it blows my mind watching God work in my life, like watching what he does for people who stay faithful to him. Like, I thought that my whole life was over. I thought that I would never find anyone as good as my husband. I thought that I would never find anyone to love me or my kids like their own. I thought that I wasn't worthy of finding a new love. I thought that I was incapable of supporting myself or my children or finding a good job. I didn't know what to do about my car because my husband had taken it and sold it instead of fixing it. So I was completely left without nothing. You know, I was left without a lot. And the first year was very, very, very hard. The first year sucked. And I held on for a long, long time. I never wanted divorce. I never considered divorce. I really, truly believed that we could fix it because my heart was in it. I got to a point where I realized that his wasn't. And you can't, no matter how much you want things to happen, sometimes God just has better for you. I've gotten to that point where at the beginning it was like I waited and waited and waited and waited, and I didn't want to keep waiting because I wanted to have that love again. I wanted to be loved. I wanted to, you know, my kids to be loved, and I wanted us to have a good time, and I wanted us to be taken care of. And I had been so used to the same thing for 10 years that it was hard. So many good things came out of this. You don't really realize them at the time when they're happening. You don't see God working until time has passed, until you can sit back and look back. I can look at things now, being 2 years out, I can look backwards and think, oh my gosh, I see what you were doing. Like, I know what you did. I see how you strategically placed this person here. I see how you put this dream on my heart. I see how you moved things into position. And although some of those things have taken 2 years to come to fruition, it amazes me how much people can change in that time. How much things can change, circumstances can change, how your feelings and your emotions and your attitudes can truly heal and become something different. So I just wanted to share with you guys a little bit, because I know you guys ask me constantly, like, you know, what is what is like the status on my divorce, or are we getting back together, or have I met anyone new, or am I still living with my mom? Am I getting a new job? Am I doing anything different? I've posted a decent amount of updates recently, or like this year anyway. I've been trying to get more consistent on here, as you guys know, but I really sat down the other day and I looked back at things that have happened in the past 2 years that have blown me out of the water. I have always been somebody who has loved, and I mean absolutely loved, travel. And for whatever reason, when I was with him, we never had the funds or the means or the ability to travel, like ever. It was, we went to Disney World, you know, a few times, like every other year. Disney's not cheap by any means, obviously, but like, we didn't do a lot of things as a family, and I wanted to change that. Like, that was a big thing that I wanted to change after he had left. I really wanted to make sure that my kids knew we're a family, even if we're a family of 3, even if eventually down the line we add somebody else or we never add anyone else, we are still a family. So I wanted to make sure that I could take them and show them different experiences and different things, and still show them the world, you know, and let them see new things and places and people, and truly appreciate where they are and like being together with them. 2021, we went to Disney World. I took my son to Disney World just for like a mother-son trip. We went to Park City, Utah, and then I went to a women's retreat in Oklahoma. So that was 3 places in 2021. 2022 is not even over yet, and we went to, I took the kids with me to Oklahoma, to Tulsa, to a church out there, and there was like a big seminar in February, and then I was able to actually go to San Antonio in August with my best friend, and then next month we are going on a family vacation that I'm so excited about. I'm not going to tell you guys yet. If you want updates on that, go check over on my Instagram, because I am posting different little hints and little things. Not totally tell you guys, but like kind of tell you guys, you know. But we're going in December, and I'm so excited. Like, I'm beyond excited, and my son has been begging me to take him here for years. And I mean years. We finally get to go, and I'm beyond happy about this. And I wrote and published and sold a book. Like, that's crazy to me. And I was thinking about it, if I wouldn't have gone through the things that I did, if my husband didn't walk out on me, if I didn't go through the trauma and the heartbreak and the growth that I've had to go through in the 2 years is outstanding. But if I didn't go through all those things, I would not have ever written a book. And now I'm on my way to writing 2 more. Like, I'm finding my passion for life again. And it's so wild, because I truly believe that some things have to happen, and maybe not everything. Like, I'm not gonna sit there and say like, oh, everything is God's will, because that's not true. But, you know, that little punk of a devil will come in and try to like screw up your entire life. And it's on you how things turn out, because you can run to the world or you can run to God, and there's gonna be very, very different outcomes with whatever you choose. I've done everything my way and the world's way, and the way that's more popular or more pleasing to people, and it has royally screwed me over. So I was like, you know what? This time's gonna be different. It's gonna be very different. I wanted to become more bold in my faith walk, my love walk, talking about what I'm doing while I'm following God's lead. And there are things that have been hard, and I mean very hard. And there are things that I used to be terrified to talk about, and I don't know why. I think it's because I have people who follow me who are younger, and so I don't ever want to say anything that is going to point somebody else in the wrong direction, or have somebody assume something. Like, people assume the worst constantly, and it's kind of annoying. I honestly don't care what anybody thinks about me. People can make their judgments on their own, but I don't ever want to be the reason that someone does or does not decide to do something. So by no means am I saying like, oh, you know, if your husband walks out, you know, just walk away, divorce him, or oh, you have to stay and wait around for 2 years. Like, that's not, everybody's situation is different. You need to get like clarification from God on your situation. But God has taken me into a place where I have had to really be tested. I've really learned to change a lot of things about myself that I thought were okay before, when in reality they were not okay, and they did not make God happy. Being the person who I was, the wife I was, the mother I was, like, he wasn't happy with it. Like, I'm not saying I was a bad person, but I could have definitely done better, and I knew that. I just didn't do it. And I have learned so much about myself this year alone. If you would have told me last year around this time, the people that I would have in my life, the things I would be doing, I would never have believed you. Like, I would never ever have believed that I would have published and sold a book. I would never have believed that certain people would be in my life that I haven't seen in years. I would never believe that I'd be traveling this much. And I honestly, I really wouldn't believe that I'd be happy. I was so upset. I was so torn apart still. Like, 1 year did nothing. 1 year did not heal me. 1 year made me sort of better, I guess. My dreams and hopes were starting to get a little better. My goals for myself, my aspirations and stuff were starting to get to a point where I was starting to dream bigger because of what God put on my heart for myself to do. Not just like, oh, I'd love to live in a mansion, and I'd love to have this car, and I'd love to do this, this, and this. My goals became more action oriented, and like, I really wanted to have things down as goals that I knew I could achieve as long as I pushed hard enough. I don't know, like, there's something different between the 1 and 2 year mark. I don't know what it is. 1 year ago, I was nowhere near where I'm at right now mentally. Like, my jobs have switched and changed. I've changed a lot of things that I really want out of life. Social media has not become, like, it's become less important to me. Coaching, working out, like, I obviously still want to be healthy, and sure, I'd still, you know, want to get like that summer body, but it's not like the most important thing on my list anymore, where it used to be. It was all about more physical things, and if I looked better, maybe he'd come back. If I had a body like this, maybe he wouldn't want to leave me. But really, my mindset was so messed up that it was just, I had to see very clearly. I had to really look and find out on the inside, like, what was going on with me, because I can't control what my ex-husband wants to do, or my ex. We're not fully divorced yet, but I can't control what he wants. I can't control what he decides to do with his life. I can't control how he eats. I can't control if he prays. I can't control if he believes in God. I can't control if he believes in the same things I believe in. I can't control if he sees my kids. I can't control if he is a good dad. I can't control if he lies to everybody in his family about me. I can't control any of those things. I can only control myself, my reactions, my mindset, my health, my prayer life, and who I allow in my life after I've learned what is toxic, what is not healthy, what is not a good thing to have. Yes. I didn't realize that there were a lot of things in our relationship, and by no means am I bashing him or saying that like he was 100% the problem, because he wasn't. It was very two-sided for sure. We both were terrible at being married. I've learned that there are things though about myself that people like. There are things about me that people love. There are things about me that God put in me special, because he knew that people would be more attracted to my personality and my light, and I could help lead those people to God. And when you start living with a sense of, how can I show people Jesus? Like, how can I show people that he's moved in my life? When you start living with that mentality, it stops being all about how I can look cute in this dress, or how I can date as many guys as possible, or when is the next time I'm gonna sleep with somebody, or when is the next time I'm gonna get married, when am I gonna go on a date, when am I gonna find someone, when am I gonna make a bunch of money, when am I gonna find a new job. When you start focusing on God's purpose for you, like, why are you here? Why are you born into the family that you were born into? Why are you going through the things that you're going through? Like, people all the time will sit there and go through something, and then I cannot handle these balloons. People will go through things all the time, and they will sit there and say, God, why me? Why did you let me into this position? Why did this bad thing happen to me? Why do I have to be the person that gets through this? Why do I have to be the person that breaks this generational curse? Like, you constantly wonder, like, what the heck, why me? And then you get to a point where you start realizing, that's why I went through all this trouble before, because you had something better for me. I'm starting to see how God moved 2 years ago. My husband was not gonna change, that he wasn't gonna come back. No matter how much hope or faith I had, he didn't want to. It was, God, no matter how much I wanted him to come back, he also had to want that. He also had to want to get closer to God, which he didn't. And we're actually on a, I don't want to say that we're cordial. I guess we're on like a semi-cordial level. We are still in the process of getting divorced. It's rough. I'm not gonna lie. I just really want to move into the things that I know God has for me. I'm not saying divorce is good, that it's bad. When God allows it, it's fine. You pray on that. Like, if you have an issue with divorce or not getting divorced, that is gonna come with your own conviction. You're gonna have to ask God about that. But in my situation, it is definitely okay. And although it's not what I wanted in the beginning, I've come to terms with it now, because through the waiting process, God has taught me so much about who I am, who he needs me to be, who he made me to be, what is coming to me as long as I trust him. I know that there's not like necessarily a point to this video. Like, this may give you answers, it might not give you any answers at all, but I just want to say that 2 years after my husband walked out on me, tomorrow I will wake up and it'll be 2 years that I woke up single. 2 years that I woke up crying and bawling my eyes out, not knowing which way to turn, not knowing where to go. 2 years ago tonight, I drank for the first time in 10 years. It was hard, you know, it was really hard. I spiraled for a few months. I did things I didn't want to do. I was with people I didn't want to be with. I said things that I should never have said, and that all came out of hurt. But like, now I look at my life and I'm like, wow, God, you did so much. Like, you did so much, and I wasn't even paying attention. And it went by so fast that I honestly, like, I can feel that things are changing. Like, I can feel that I've stepped into this new, like, chapter of my life. I can't explain the feelings that I get. Like, I'm happy, but I'm also just honestly content. I'm not with anybody. People have asked me this, and I don't ever talk about this stuff on social media, but I also have not had sex in 2 years. And to some people, that's crazy. To me, I am still a married woman, so I don't believe in that. Like, I'm not gonna, no matter what he did, I'm not going off and sleeping with somebody else, because I'm not married to anybody else. I'm not with anybody else. Like, I'm married still to my husband, even though we're not together and we haven't been together in 2 years. And some people think that's freaking crazy. There have been times I thought that that was crazy, but I can honestly say that when you take things like that off the table, like, completely, it weeds out all the crappy people, for one. The people that literally only want one thing from you, they're gone. That makes room for you to not get cloudy and foggy mentally and spiritually, so that God can work in your life and can work through you. It's been a really weird road. This year has been one for the books. I don't even want to sit here and say, okay, next year, this time, I can expect this, this, and this. The stuff that God has done in my life just in 1 year, there's no way I would have seen any of it coming. There's no way that I am even remotely close to seeing what's coming next year. I'm walking behind God and blindly trusting him, because I know that nothing ever worked out before. It's just, I recommend it. It is not easy, But knowing that I have to sit here and take time to put God first, to spend time praying, to spend time reading my Bible, to spend time not obsessing over anything, even if it's something that God's promised to me, that I can't put that on like a pedestal and like obsess over those things. I just have to wait, let it be his timing, and he's gonna seriously move mountains. And I don't know what to expect within the next year. I hope that within the next few months I'll be divorced officially. I've had a lot. I'm not ready to talk about other things yet, because I know where some things are going, and I can almost sort of predict some things happening by this time next year. For right now, I'm taking it one day at a time. I'm walking into whatever God is leading me into, because I have no idea what that is. I can't even guess. It's not even necessarily that time heals all wounds. It's more so faith does. And I've learned that now more than anything, like knowing the people in my life who truly love me, truly care, truly are there every single step of the way for me and for my kids is honestly, it's mind-blowing. Those people are beyond family to me, beyond. And most of them, like 90% of them, are not even blood related to me. If you are going through anything that is remotely terrible, you can get through it. There's so much willpower that we have inside of us. And I think that sometimes when we lose everything that we have, that is the only time that we finally walk in faith and just say, all right, God, do what you gotta do. Like, I'm gonna lean on you. I'm gonna trust you. I know it's gonna be better than whatever I have planned in my head. Like, I could think about 10 different things that I would love to happen in my life. And God's gonna blow those 10 things out of the water and be like, no, I'm gonna give you better than that, because, not because you deserve it, but because I love you and you decided to like trust me. So those 10 things don't even matter, because I'm gonna get better than whatever those are, because he does things exceedingly and abundantly higher than we could ever imagine. And that is something I've learned definitely within this past year, but within the past 2 years of me being separated. God is so good. Whenever you literally have nowhere else to turn and you don't know what to do and you're questioning everything, he has some kind of answer for you. And if you are at that point where you're like, well, I don't even know if I believe in God, okay, that's cool. Just ask him. Just be like, hey, you know, if you're real, show me. And I can promise you he will. And once you start getting to that point where you trust him, whoo, he's gonna move things. He's gonna do things that are gonna just shock you. Like, it's crazy. It's November. I can't even believe it's November. And all the things that I've gone through this year alone just show me how good God is. Like, he's amazing. And I'm excited for whatever's gonna happen next year, because I'm trusting him blindly, 1000%. Full faith, trusting God, and you should give it a try, because I can honestly say that everything that I've ever done has never even come close to the things that have happened to me this year by trusting him. So I know that this video was a little different and I started talking about, you know, my relationship, but I will say that,
did you cut this?
No, it fell down.
Oh.
I can honestly say that if you trust him and you give everything you can to him, whoo, man, things will move. Things will move in a great way. And oh, one thing I will say, the best prayer, which is one of the hardest prayers, but the best prayer that I've prayed, that I have found instant answers, is to pray, God, remove anything in my life that is not from the Father, the Son, or the Holy Ghost. Take it out. Man, does he love that one, because he takes things out snippety snappity and they're gone, and then you know, okay, cool, that's not you. And sometimes it hurts but it's always worth it. Here's to 2 years of being separated, 2 years of being single, 2 years of walking in the craziest faith that I've ever walked in my life. Here's to many more beautiful, amazing adventures. And yeah, I love you guys, and I will see you next video. Bye.